So, welcome once again to Riverfront Territory on the Foul Territory Network. I'm Trent Rosecrans. I am a senior MLB writer for The Athletic, and he is Danny Graves, who has two more big league home runs than I do.
You got to it before I could even say anything.
I know. I just figured I'd get it out of the way.
Yeah. Perfect. We're done for this episode of my home run talk, obviously.
Well,
But you
and
do have a
the
cool
one in Houston went like 280 feet, right?
right. But it still made it over the home
The
run
fence
line.
was there.
So
It's the
yeah,
same.
I did.
Like, I mean, you were throwing in front of that fence, so.
Yeah, because I gave up some homers on that fence too. So it's all equal.
Yeah, so good. I should just start everyone with the Danny Graves baseball reference page up there. Um, because I know I'm gonna like go back and find something.
Yeah.
Because it is a super fun game. But this is what I do for fun.
No, that's so much fun. And you last episode, you actually made me very emotional because I was completely off on my last ever big league pitch. I thought it was
Yeah.
a homer, and it wasn't
Yeah,
a
and it was
homer,
just a double.
just a double. That's a big difference.
Okay.
So,
Ooh, here's a good question. Besides your two home ball, or besides the two ballparks in Cincinnati, um, what three stadiums did you give up the most home runs in? And each was just five. So not that many.
okay, so I would say St. Louis,
Nope. You
Wrigley.
only gave up one in St. Louis.
Seriously?
Yeah.
God, that's I can't imagine. And that was to hold on, don't tell me. I'll figure that out in a second. Um, okay, Wrigley has to be one of them.
Nope. Chicago, Wrigley, you gave up a couple, but like you gave up four in Wrigley.
Milwaukee, Miller Park.
That's four.
Oh my gosh.
I
Okay.
love this Stump Gravy segment.
Yeah. Oh my. I don't even know because I
Well,
felt I was pretty good in Dodger Stadium, pretty good in
uh-huh.
Atlanta. Um, jeez, I can't even think now. Pittsburgh. No,
Just three.
this is a tough game.
Oh, well, you've already
You
mentioned
really
one. Plus Pittsburgh, you did. Well, you didn't give any up at Three Rivers. So
no. I don't. I don't have. I didn't have many outings at Three Rivers. I don't think.
yeah.
Maybe a few. Um. Oh my gosh. Shea Stadium.
Yes.
Okay. One. My last one there was to David Bell, I believe,
Okay.
or maybe it was Todd Helton. One of the two. One's a Hall of Famer. So.
Yeah.
Um. Oh gosh, I can't even. Where else? Cleveland. Cleveland.
Four.
This is the
We've already
hardest game
talked
I've
about
ever done.
one.
That has five or more.
Yeah. And they were division.
So
Houston.
was it? It was Houston,
Yeah.
not the
And
Astrodome.
no, Enron or
Okay.
whatever. It was Enron at the time.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Bank One Ball or in Arizona. You gave up five in Arizona.
I should have known. Yeah, I should have known that. I hated pitching there. I hated it. Oh
Fair.
yeah. I,
It's just kind of like not a fun park, you know?
no, no, and I can tell you, Travis Lee, Danny Clausen, Junior Spivey, and I don't know. I can't remember who else.
Ah, okay. I found out who was the one Cardinal to hit a home run off of you.
Was it Renteria?
Nope. Okay,
Okay, that was
I'll
in
just say it.
Cincinnati.
Marlon Anderson.
Well, yeah, he hit me out in St. Louis and in Cincinnati. I should have guessed.
Yeah, but you
He
know,
was like 6 for 8 off me. That's okay.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
He knew every pitch that I was throwing now. Like he
Ooh,
he
yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
You replaced Todd Jones. Gave up with
2004.
yeah, he came in with the bases loaded in 2004 in St. Louis. Replaced Todd Jones, who had loaded the bases. You guys were ahead 5-2, and we won't talk about anything after that.
Didn't end up well, huh?
Mhm. You got
Okay,
Tony
I got
Womack to ground out to end the inning, though. So you
okay,
walked off without the man, well, with your team. So there's something.
but the game didn't end, or it did end.
No, no, no. That
Okay,
was the. It was in the eighth.
okay,
Oh wait,
okay. I
no,
got
that's
it.
in Cincinnati. Shoot, I had the wrong one. That was my bad. I'd done it. I just saw St. Louis. Okay. Oh man, this is great audio. Um, man,
Okay,
the
so
people are just clamoring to come back off this one. You're
Larry
the
Walker,
one you gave up in St. Louis was to a Hall of Famer,
Larry
so you got
Walker.
that. Yep.
Yeah, it was a grand slam.
Was it?
No,
Oh my.
was it?
Let's
I feel
see.
like it was.
Home run. Larry Walker. Reggie Sanders scores. Marlon Anderson scores. Tony Womack scores. Yeah. Hey, but you got. Jeez. Um, but you got a Hall of Famer to get out of that inning.
Pujols.
No, Pujols singled after Walker homered. Scott Rowland,
Oh, okay.
fly ball
Well,
to deep
listen,
center field. Dude,
I
this
can
is
tell
awesome.
you.
I'm sorry. This is just probably boring as hell for anybody watching, but.
No, listen though. I can tell you that was 2004.
Mm-hmm.
So Walker hits the grand slam in 2005. Beginning of the season, we're in St. Louis, and there's bases loaded with one out. Larry Walker's up. I intentionally walk Larry Walker to face Albert Pujols. Yeah, bases loaded, one out with the 1-run lead. He hits the first pitch to Joe Randa, ground ball, double play, game over. We win. If Walker doesn't hit the grand slam the year before, we don't intentionally walk him.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, yeah. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. So what we're going to talk about today, it's going to start with Baseball America came out with its top 10 Reds prospects, and I was kind of going to go through that. But there's a little bit that I found kind of interesting off of that. We'll start with prospects because, like, I know you haven't gone too deep into all the prospects, but
Right.
so I'll just do theirs. This is 1 through 10. Sal Stewart, we know. Alfredo Duno, who was in low A last year, maybe had like some of the best strike zone judgment in baseball, which is a good thing to start with. And then he's just an extremely large individual with power and some pretty decent speed. All good things. And he's a catcher. Rhett Lauder, third. Tyson Lewis, shortstop, drafted 2 years ago. Had a really good first season. One of the reasons they saw Sammy Stafura is able for them to be able to move him in the deal that they made at the deadline. Steele Hall, this year's first round pick. Chase Petty, BA is really high on Chase Petty apparently, and I understand why. Quite honestly, he didn't have a great season, but that stuff it's part of the growing process to me. Shortstop Edwin Arroyo, who actually had a pretty good bounce back from shoulder surgery. So I'll be interested to see that year after shoulder surgery how he does, or after playing a year with it,
Yeah.
because I think there's some that surgery can take 2 years to get over really, and I put that caveat with Matt McClain as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then 8 is Cam Collier, 9 Hector Rodriguez. And then 10 is Starlin Torres, who pitched in Arizona last year, and one of those guys that apparently has really good command. And when you're 19 and with good command, that's pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
You shouldn't have good command when you're 19. You should just have stuff.
Yeah, you get stuff, and then like you're allowed to drink, and then you're allowed to have command at 21.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, that's pretty impressive. A lot of good names on this list, man.
It's pretty good. I mean, like Edwin Arroyo, like when that's your 7, Cam Collier is your 8.
Hmm.
And I think if you talk to people inside the organization, I think they might have Hector Rodriguez higher than this.
Yeah.
They really like Hector Rodriguez. He's a guy who can just hit. Um, you know,
So is he
gets
close?
aggressive, but yeah. I mean, he'll be on the 40 man here soon. I would be, barring injury, of course. I mean, I think
Hmm.
we should always use that as a caveat, or should
Yeah.
maybe be understood. But barring injury, I can't imagine not seeing him in 2026. Partially because
Oh,
he'll be on the 40 man. They
right.
need to
Right.
protect him. And Edwin Arroyo the same. Although I think Hector, Edwin Arroyo, I think would get up if they're middle infield injuries, which there always can be. So I would expect to see both of those guys up this year. Um, so yeah, and then but what they do is they always do is a projected lineup for 2029, which is a couple years
Hmm.
down the line. And this is what I thought was really interesting because the way they had it, and I'll go catcher through, and they do a DH and starters and closers. Catcher Alfredo Duno, first base Sal Stewart, second base Matt McLean, third base Edwin Arroyo, shortstop Ellie De La Cruz, left field Tyson Lewis, center field Steele Hall, right field Noelvi Marte, DH Cam Collier, and then your rotation is Hunter Green, Chase Burns, Rhett Lauder, Andrew Abbott, Chase Petty, and closer Luis May. So that's 16 names, and 10 of those we've already seen at the big league level, which is pretty impressive when you're looking that far out. But add to that none of those guys, the 10 that have done, when we're talking about, 3 to 4 years in the future, none of them will be older than 30. And your number 4 starter in this situation just finished 8th in Cy Young voting in the National League,
Yeah, and
and
was an
Andrew
all-star.
Abbott, and was an all-star. You have 2 guys who have been all-stars there. Um, yeah, there's some talent. So really, kind of, this is something we've been talking about or leading up to as an idea for a while was, um, what do you consider the core of this team, in this organization? Because when you're making moves in the offseason, and you're going to have to make some trades, probably,
Hmm. Hmm.
when you're making those, you have to look at your organization in the pieces that you say, okay, like they did with Sammy Stafuro, where they saw Tyson Lewis and Steele Hall kind of the same level. You saw Ellie De La Cruz, Edwin Arroyo ahead of him, and those at the higher levels, and some other guys in that same role. So that's when you go, okay, we can cover this. We can send him out to better our team. Now, he may be a very good player in the future, and he has all the tools too. He's a really highly regarded prospect for a reason. However, that's they have that position. I wouldn't say covered, but because
Yeah.
you never have enough shortstops or right-handed starters, right? Like
Right. Because
if
it's
you're
yeah.
right-handed and you're drafted, you were either a shortstop or a right-handed starter, right?
Yeah, and the shortstops, there's like we've seen, there's plenty of them on the prospect list, but then on the 29 projected lineup, there's only one shortstop that can play shortstop, and right now
Mm-hmm.
it's Ellie. But the other shortstops are moved to different positions because they're
But
that good of an athlete.
you have 5 guys who are shortstops in the minors, and like primary shortstops, and McLean, Arroyo, Lewis, Hall, and Marte, the entire outfield. And that's what shortstops do, right? Shortstops move
Yes,
elsewhere.
right.
Um, I mean, Danny, tell me, when you were growing up all through high school, you were the shortstop, right?
No, I wish I could say I was, but Central Florida, we had good
Oh,
baseball. Like,
yeah.
yeah, we had a
So,
lot of good prospects.
so you like the shortstops you played with who were playing shortstop instead of you also probably played college baseball and pro baseball and all that.
Yes, yes. A lot of them got scholarships to go play college baseball. So, like, I really had no chance to play before the high school. Yes, I played shortstop, and
Yeah.
and post career, I play shortstop whenever I mess around with older guys because I think I can play shortstop. But yes, that's where the great athletes go. And I
Mm-hmm.
realized I wasn't a great athlete, so I stopped.
But we even talked about that last time. Like your old teammate and my old teammate Jimmy Anderson was a
Yeah.
shortstop when we were kids because we were the best
Right.
players, or he was the best
Yeah.
player. I was not. Uh, yeah, even though he's left-handed.
Well,
But
and
yeah,
Hunter
so
Green was a shortstop.
yes, he was. Oh yeah, so he didn't play there in the minors, but he did DH. So yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
I
that's what's interesting. So really, it's like we're talking about what are we starting when we look at the next 4 or 5 years. Who are the guys that we're like, okay, I feel like they're gonna be there.
So, like, do you feel like there's a certain number that has to be the
No,
core?
I just think
Okay,
there's
neither
like
do
a
I.
core of like who are your guys that are your core. Like you know,
Well,
say some of the last teams you were on, the ones I were there. You're like, okay, Griffey, Dunn. Um, trying to think
Boone,
who else.
Casey.
Yeah, Casey. Those were guys who were your core, but like, and then as they kind of got older, Casey got moved on. There was a big deal, Aaron Boone.
Yeah,
Um,
Boone got moved on.
I don't know if there were any really starters while you were there that would have been considered core ish.
Just Harangue,
Yeah,
Aaron Harangue,
yeah,
probably.
and like
Uh,
even early, he wasn't. You didn't think he was going to be as big as a
right,
pitcher as he was. So
right. Well, he came in the trade for Jose Guillen, and they knew in the future that he would be one of the guys. But in the
yeah,
short time, the couple years I played with them, it was just this is a guy we got in a trade. He's got great stuff. But
yep,
then he became one of those that we need this guy 4 years, 5 years down the road. Um, so looking at this list, obviously, to me, I'm going straight to the starting pitchers. Could you imagine
okay.
if these five guys? You probably knew I
Right.
was going to do that. um,
I thought you'd start with Ellie De La Cruz because it's Ellie De La Cruz, and that's where I would start. But I get it. You're a
yeah,
pitcher.
well, I almost feel like Ellie's a given.
Yeah,
Like I should have
like
said that
we
to
don't need
start.
any discussion on Ellie.
Right, wherever Ellie's going to play, shortstop, third, whatever you decide to do with Ellie's going to be there. That's a given,
Well,
in
he's
my
going to be
opinion.
playing in the majors. We hope
Yeah,
for the Reds at that point.
yes, hopefully for the Reds forever for his whole career. But I look at this rotation and it reminds me of the Atlanta Braves, those days that they had those guys, Smoltz, Maddox, Glavine. And then their number 4 guy was Steve Avery at the time, who threw 98 from the left side. And not that Andrew Abbott throws 98, but he's a left-handed pitcher, and they have him as a number 4 starter, and he will only be 30 at that
Yeah,
time. So that's what's amazing about this whole list. I've seen a lot of Chase Burns and Rhett Lauder covering them both in college. Man, you haven't even seen the best of them yet. And I know Chase went from starting a little bit and showed some flashes of brilliance. And then they put him in the bullpen. He can do both. But I think at the end of the day, whichever one you want him at, he's going to dominate. He's
yeah,
going to dominate. That's how good his stuff is. And we know Hunter Green can be the ace of a staff his whole career.
yeah. It's funny. Like I'll go back this sausage making, but I remember like pretty much everybody was stunned when the Reds took Chase Burns too, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody thought it was going to be Travis Bazzana going and Charlie Condon going 1-2 regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Yeah.
Reds went with Burns, and there was a lot of like hoopla. And I just remember you may have reached out to me, or maybe I reached out to you. I think you reached out to me. You were just like, I love this pick,
Yeah.
and because you knew the guy, like what is it about Chase Burns that you saw that he is one of these core type guys?
So before the draft that year, when the lottery went and ended up they get the number 2 pick, I, shortly after that, I don't know if it was that day, but shortly after that, I tweeted out that wouldn't it be great if the Reds took Chase Burns at number 2? And
Maybe that's what I
people thought,
saw, and then I went after
yeah,
you. Yeah, something like
yeah.
that.
And then you were the only one I talked to after that. Like you were asking me about him, and
Yeah, I knew you saw him.
yeah, this is a guy that obviously the stuff is there. People have seen the stuff, the electric stuff that he has. I know people were talking about his delivery. Is it too violent? Well, I felt like his delivery, he finished the same way every single time. He wasn't just wildly out there throwing with
Mm.
bad mechanics. Um, I felt like off the field, there's not many guys that are as cool and as um, and a big of a cheerleader as Chase Burns was when he was at Wake Forest. And this is obviously he was the ace the year that he was there, but he was the first one on the top of the step rooting for the next guy. And when you have a guy of this stature who just comes from Tennessee, where we know that they have a different kind of aura in Tennessee, it's like, what are you going to get out of this guy? Well, he was the biggest cheerleader for his teammates, whether it was a pitcher or whether it was a position player. He was there rooting them on. And it's tough to find guys that are supposed to be big time major leaguers that have
Yeah.
that in them. And he has it. He has it from the get go. And great, comes from a great family, a military background. He's grounded, man. He's got a great foundation. So much good from Chase Burns. And then you say, oh gosh, this guy does throw 100 miles an hour with a nasty slider. So,
Right. He throws
it
100
helps.
miles an hour, and the fastball might be his second best pitch.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. And I just felt like at the time it would be um, it would be a disaster if they didn't take the best arm available. And I saw a lot of Charlie Condon too. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
he had great power and he hit for average that year, but um, I don't know. Was he Golden Spikes? He
Yeah.
was the best offensive player in college baseball
Right.
at that time. But I just felt like you cannot pass up an arm like this. You know,
Especially
this
for a
is one
guy
of those
that you probably project as a left fielder.
with Condon.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So are you going to pass up a guy who's got an electric arm and could pitch and be an ace for you for years, or are you going to take a guy that might hit 30 to 40 home runs? I like the arms.
So this gets to the Hunter Green talk, because that had been a hot topic this off season. It's not something I ever really wrote about because I didn't really believe it because
Mhm.
it didn't make sense to me. Um, but that is where it is. Like, I mean, Hunter Green, when you're talking about this franchise, since they've moved to this ballpark, the two periods that they've actually had success, they've done it with starting pitching.
Mhm.
You know, that
Yeah,
10 through 12, when you're Bronson Arroyo, I mean, Aaron Herring at the front, then Edinson Volquez, and of course, Johnny Cueto
Johnny
and
Cueto.
Matt Latos and Homer Bailey.
Right.
Like, that's when you just had to have guys on guys. And I don't think, like, I don't know if anybody in baseball really now goes, oh, well, we got 5 starters. Our work is done.
Right. Yeah, you can't have enough good arms, you
Right.
know? And the stuff that Chase Burns has, I don't know how many starts he made throughout the season, but they knew that his best availability at that particular time was putting him in the bullpen,
Mm-hmm.
and he was able to do it. Well, because he's got a great arm and he's got a great attitude, great mentality that he can do both. But if you pass on him at the number 2 spot, you don't have that luxury. You don't have that option. You'd have to go find somebody else.
So, and then like getting back to Green, what is it about
Mm-hmm.
Green as a pitcher that you see that is so special that puts him in that upper echelon?
So you tell me if I'm from looking from the outside if I'm off, but I feel like the first few years he seemed like he was just kind of content a little bit, almost just hey, I'm going to go do my job every fifth day, and I'm going to go give innings, and here it is, and you know, I'm just going to stay on an even keel the whole time. I think it's great to stay on an even keel, but I feel like this year you could see fire coming from him. You could see more aggressiveness coming from him. And what I mean by aggressiveness, he's attacking the hitters and he's not like picking at the hitters anymore. He's like thinking, this is my stuff. And if
Mm-hmm.
you can hit it, good for you. But you're probably not gonna. Like, I felt like this year was a complete different mindset for him. And that's what makes him an ace, in my opinion. Of course, the stuff is fantastic, but you get a guy with that stature and the mound presence with stuff like that. Good luck, right? Good luck to the hitters.
Right, and give the Reds credit for locking him up longer term pretty early. That was
Yeah.
at a time when, there were a lot of questions about what they were doing long term. And, the front office said, hey, we've got this guy. And it goes both ways. Like it would be silly to think that they haven't had those discussions with Scott Boras about Ellie De La Cruz or some
Right.
or other players in their system. They do that all the time with agents, but and those
Yeah.
agents say, yeah, we're open to it. And the player has to tell the agent, hey, I would rather have the security than
Yeah.
chasing $1 billion.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
yeah, because Hunter could have not taken that deal and been
yeah,
worth a lot more, especially after the year he had this year.
yeah. And like you said, I think the biggest thing is as when he was younger, he had the great stuff, but he was like, oh, I'm going to try to hit these corners. And
Hmm.
I think when you get to the point where you are confident enough in your stuff that you're going to throw it and you're going to throw it in the zone and challenge guys in the zone.
Yeah.
And you saw him challenge in the zone. And when you challenge in the zone, you know what you don't throw? Balls, which means you throw
Yeah.
fewer pitches, which means you stay in longer. It's
Yeah.
a, I mean, it's pretty simple, right? Derek Johnson, I'm coming for your job.
I mean, yes, that's perfectly said. It's a
Thank
matter
you,
of the guys. If the you're a wordsmith, dude. You always have great things to
Wordsmith.
say.
And you're a Hall of Famer with 2 home runs.
Thank you. We complement each other very well. So here's the thing with Hunter Green. Like until he believed that he could do it, we could tell him this every single day. Derek Johnson can tell him this same thing every single day until he tries to do it and realizes, oh, that's actually a good formula. Um,
When
you know,
this is
it
kind of a
makes things a
question.
lot easier.
When did you realize that you were a big league pitcher? And how does that kind of come? Where that confidence? Because like it's not when you first step on that mound. Because oh my God, when you're first in that step on that mound, I've talked to a lot of guys. Most of them are like, holy moly, I'm here.
Yeah.
But then there are guys who are pitching in the big leagues. But then it takes a little longer for most to say, I belong here. What do you have an I belong here moment?
Um, yeah, it was AAA when I was playing in Buffalo. I had a lot. This was back when they
Mm-hmm.
always had a lot of veterans. They would have extra
AAA, your time
older.
is a lot different than AAA now.
Totally, totally. Like you might have had a couple prospects, but the rest of them were old veteran guys as insurance policies, basically. And 1995, I mentioned last episode, I played with Torey Lavolo, who is now a manager. I played with Billy Ripken Jr., Casey Candell. Like we had a load of um, like just older guys. So we finished that year. In 1995, I made it all the way to AAA. So the next year in '96, I start in AAA. Casey Candell is still a teammate of mine, and he told me that I have the ability to pitch a long, long time in the big leagues as long as I stay healthy and stay on track. And from that moment on, I felt like this is a dude that's seen a lot of baseball. Like his
Mm-hmm.
mom played for the women's baseball league back in the day. He played at that time. He was played for the Astros for a while,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then came to Cleveland. And I'm like, this is a guy that has been around, and he's telling me that I have the ability to play Major League Baseball for a long time. So then I was like, oh, I got to make this happen. Like that was my moment where I felt like he's right. I
Hmm.
shouldn't just think that I may get there. I have to believe that I'm good enough to be there for a long time. So, I mean, aha moment, I guess.
All right. So getting back to the topic, I mean, like almost that core is those, at least those top four pitchers, right? I mean,
Yes.
it
Yes.
when I say core, it's gonna take a blockbuster to get these guys away from me, and I'm probably gonna
100%.
value them more than you will.
Yes. And Chase Petty, I know he's got a lot of upside, but he's the guy I think that you could lure another team to make a trade easier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to want the house if you're going to ask for the top four starters.
Well, and then we also have to point out that Brady Singer's on a contract for next year too. So
Yeah.
like that
Right.
2029 is not that different than 2026. Just
Right.
just like that veteran.
And Brady Singer's not an old goat either. Like,
No.
he's got some time still left. Now, as far as position players, obviously Ellie. I love what Noelve Marte has turned into. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like putting him in right field made a huge difference.
I no,
um,
I think everybody you talk to, and especially even watching it, it did. It kind of relaxed him, and
yeah,
he was able just to play again, because I think he
yeah,
got in his head in the infield, and in the outfield he was able to play, and you saw just like natural baseball instincts take over.
yes. Well, that's what happened to Fernando Tatis, and I'm not saying that Marte is going to be that good of an outfielder, but who would have thought Tatis Jr. was going to be the best right fielder in all of baseball? You
Maybe
know,
more, maybe arguably the best defender.
right, right. Because he was being a shortstop, he was okay. He wasn't like lights out. Then they move him out there. Now he's the best outfielder ever. you
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
so I'm stretching saying ever. I just that's how good he is.
I mean,
Um,
yeah,
could be.
yeah. This guy was pretty good. You can't see. There it
Yeah,
is, Clemente.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, my all-time,
Uh,
maybe my all-time favorite player is like besides George Brett, because that's a whole childhood thing. But
that's okay, but that's a good one too. Roberto Clemente is a really good one. Um,
so yeah, and like, what were your other position guys? Did that you
uh,
would? Yeah.
Sal Stewart, I think, has to be one.
Did he show you enough in that short time? And what makes that different than, say, an Aristides Aquino or something like that?
So with Aquino, I think that a lot of people could see that there are holes, and he wasn't able to make adjustments once they figured him out. Like, he was just a brute strength guy, and if you make a mistake, I'm going to crush it. But you're able to pitch to him, like very
Mm-hmm.
pitchable. I think Sal Stewart is a better hitter all around. He covers the plate. He doesn't chase as much as Aquino would. So comparing the two of them, it's like this guy can only get better. If he's this disciplined right now, regardless of what he hits, we know he's got power. We know he can hit for average. He's just going to get better. Yes, they're going to make adjustments, but he's able to make adjustments too. I feel like he's going to be a mainstay for quite some time. He'll be 25 in 2029. That's crazy to have such a
Yeah.
young guy right now be that good of a hitter.
The funny thing with Sal is 2 years ago in spring training, when he got cut, he was crushed. He thought he was making the team. Nobody else did, but he did. And he was like
You love
just
that.
so mad. And he was, and Tito talks about how mad he was this year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so this guy's
That's a good thing.
no, that's exactly what you want, right?
Yeah.
As long as the reaction is okay, I'm going to show you, and I'm going to keep going, and I'll get there, as opposed to these
Right.
guys don't know what they're talking about, because we've seen
Right.
that too.
Oh, plenty, plenty. yeah.
Yeah, because you've seen it. Like you didn't have like you had good stuff, but you didn't have the greatest stuff.
No, no. But back then, you didn't have to have the best stuff to be successful or to make a team. You had to have. There was more to being a successful big league player, and I'm not saying that these things don't matter now, but I think you're going to get a lot more chances if you have really good stuff as a pitcher or if you have really good power as a hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only problem with that is you might get the chances, but you're also a lot more expendable because they can
Yeah.
find a next guy that throws really hard or can hit a lot of homers.
Well, I mean,
But
like
but
when
Sal
you
Stewart seems like
played,
he's great for the clubhouse though.
yeah, he's a good guy. He's kind of like
Great
that little
personality.
brother. Yeah, he's a good
Yeah.
dude. People
Mm-hmm.
like him. It's funny that you mentioned, and we'll go back to the Ellie for just a second. When you were talking about, what one of the things you liked about Chase Burns,
Mm-hmm.
exact same Ellie De La Cruz. Right before he got called up, I went to Louisville, and I was talking to some people there, and I was talking to an older guy who'd been around the game for quite a while, and I talked to him about Ellie, and then I said, "Okay, man," turned off my recorder. Like, what do you think? He's like, "Dude, it's real." And I'm like, "Yeah, even like the celebration, all that." And he goes, "Yeah, I love it because he is the same guy at all times.
Yeah.
He's the guy on the top step whether it's he's 0 for 4 that day or 4 for 4.
Mm.
And he said, so it's great. I don't care because that's him. It's genuine. It's not a show. And
Right.
we've all seen guys who everybody thinks, oh man, that team's really getting fired up behind that guy. And
Yeah.
then, yeah.
Yeah. When things go bad, where's that guy? Where's he
Uh
at
huh.
now? Yeah. No, you could see that. Like it's not an act. It's very genuine.
The guy, man, I mean, whatever. Yeah. Ellie De La Cruz loves baseball, and that's the bottom line.
Yeah. And I see that in Sal Stewart too.
Yes. Oh, God,
Yeah.
yes. It
Yeah.
was funny. Like, I was thinking about it. It's like we were talking about stuff. Andrew Abbott would have been a stuff guy when you were playing. You guys would have all been talking about his stuff. And now
Yeah.
he's like, oh, yeah, soft tossing lefty.
Yeah. Yeah. The soft tossing lefty that's dominating. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, our soft tossing lefties was like Jamie Moyer. That was a soft tossing lefty. And Andrew Abbott throws 10 miles an hour harder than he did.
Yeah. All right. So your core, are you going to add any to those three? The Marte.
I think Duno's got to be that guy too. I mean, all the stuff that I hear about
Yeah, but
him.
I'm almost thinking like this. Duno is a guy for the future because you can't count on
Right.
anybody at low A.
Right. Well, and Tyler's still there now.
He's my untouchable prospect. Maybe.
You need to have those. You definitely need
Yeah.
to have those. Um,
Um,
yes, I want to say
where are you on Matt
Kane.
McClain?
I love the kid, man. I love how he plays. I love wherever you play him, he's good. I know he struggled big time offensively this year, but this is a guy that he's a grinder. You know, he's one of those guys that when he's healthy, he can go out there and he will battle to the end. Um, it's just unfortunate he couldn't be on the field a lot. And when
Mm-hmm.
he didn't seem like one of those guys that made any excuses for when he was not good,
No,
you know?
no. Like, and I think he's a guy. I'm a big Matt McClain guy. I think
Yeah.
this was his offensive struggles were a lot of just being out of whack from missing a year, the shoulder
Mm-hmm.
still getting better. Um, the thing with Matt McClain, every day, like
Same.
if you put a heartbeat monitor on him during a game, I don't know that it would ever get up higher or lower.
So the game's not too fast for him. See, that's hard to find. That really is, especially a middle infield guy. You know, a guy that's could be top of the order, middle of the order in the lineup. That's hard to find, especially being a younger guy. But you
Uh,
need that.
yeah, I also think he could be your center fielder long term. But he's a
I think.
really good defensive second baseman. The thing about that is say Edwin Arroyo. Maybe if he's hitting and he's coming up and he's kind of your second baseman,
Mhm.
you can move there.
And not knowing him like you do, but I bet you he would do it.
Oh yeah, I mean he played center in college. Like he's just going to play wherever. That
Right.
was that was one of the best things I've ever like. One of those things like I felt like a scout. I think a scout pointed this out to me first, so like then I noticed it. So I can't
Uh-huh.
even take it as an original thing. Um, but when they were in the minors and Ellie and Matt were trading off every day who was playing shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
So like Matt would play shortstop and Ellie would play third. Ellie would play shortstop the next day and Matt would play second.
Yeah.
Like they it didn't seem to be an issue to them. Either one
Right.
of them. And that's rare. Shortstops don't like to not be the shortstop.
Shortstops want to play shortstop.
I bet you could go to Miguel Cabrera today and he would tell you he's still a shortstop.
Yeah, but
So
he played zero, or I don't know how many games he played, but yeah, for Ellie
well, he did as
to
a young player, yeah,
right, but then they moved him to third and then to first outfield. Yeah,
and he got bigger, yeah.
yeah. Um, but Ellie, like his first year up in Cincinnati, accepting the third base role and playing it perfectly, knowing that he's a shortstop, but this is his way to be in the lineup and play every day.
Mm-hmm.
You love guys like that.
Yeah, and I think, and this isn't to say anything about, this is not a judgment at all. It's like, I think with Noel V, when he first moved over to third and he was fine, he was like, okay, oh, I can play here. But then it was like, uh, it's not quite going right. And that just caused things to go
Yeah.
to speed up on him. And we've seen that before. Like, I mean, heck, we can look at Adam Duvall or in Kansas City, Alex Gordon, went from being a third baseman that was
Yeah.
up and down to the minors and having issues. They put him in left field, and he's a Gold Glove left fielder. And
Yeah.
I
Multiple
can
times.
see Noel V. Marte being a Gold Glove right fielder.
Yeah.
Not while he's playing at the same time as Fernando Tatis, but like a Gold
Yeah.
Glove caliber, have his name in those three that they announce.
Yeah. I agree. I agree 100%. You could see the comfort level and just trusting his athleticism on balls in the outfield. I mean, whatever game that was that he made that one at the wall. I don't know if you guys already had gotten into the playoffs or that was,
Nope.
yeah, it was just amazing to see.
They didn't get into the playoffs until they'd finished playing, like 5 or 10 minutes after they finished playing the
Right,
season.
because somebody else had to lose. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, like I think that's and the other thing is and it may sound contradictory to what I just said, but like in the outfield, it seemed like when he made a mistake, he was able to like not let it affect him, but use it as a teaching tool. And he would try to like figure that mistake out. And I think maybe that being in outfield was enough that it let him kind of be like, okay, I don't know it all yet. I shouldn't be able to do that because I've never
Yeah.
taken these kind of balls. Whereas at third base, you're like, I'm a shortstop. I should be able to do this.
Right. Well, what's the old cliche, right? Don't take your defense to your at bat. Like you say, they tell the kids that in a little league, and it happens for big leaguers, obviously. But yeah, the best thing for him was to get him off that clay, get him out in the grass, let him just be free.
Yeah. I could always hit mad, but I couldn't field mad. So
Yeah. Well, I could always relieve, but I couldn't start.
yeah. Well, you did it at a little higher level than the Kanto Plain Athletic Association that I did. So I don't think any of the competition there would have caused your heartbeat to race. Not even me.
Maybe Jimmy though.
Well, no, Jimmy played. This was a different place. I had moved all over the place, so
Okay.
no, like I wasn't playing that level of high school baseball. I was, yeah, 2-time all league, which tells you about the league. Yeah.
Dude, I have faith in you, dude. Don't tell me that. Come on.
I was okay for my league.
But it's good that
So,
we're humble. Humble.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I had 2 home runs in the majors, I wouldn't be humble either. So, well, good. Hey, this was fun. Honestly, like it feels like we just scratched the surface, but we've already gone a little longer than we were supposed to. So, hey,
Yeah.
how about that? I'm gonna try to play around with graphics and everything next time. This would have been much better if I knew what I was doing. But live and
Well,
learn, right, my friend?
we know
We'll
how to
figure it
talk
out.
and listen to each other, so it's good.
I mean, I think we've had a good time. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Hey, by
um,
the time the season starts, maybe we'll have a couple graphics up, but who knows?
yeah. So, so this is kind of we're getting there. We want you
Yeah.
to subscribe. Please,
Hmm.
if you could subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. If you're more of an audio person, if you don't want to,
Look at
see
these
Danny.
beauties.
Well, look at one beauty. Um, Still baby faced after all these years. So please subscribe to Riverfront Territory on YouTube. We're trying to get to 1,000 people. Come on. We'll see. I hope so. Share it. Tell people if you're a Reds
Yeah.
fan and you like listening to Danny Graves and put up with my crap, keep going.
And vice
Um,
versa.
yeah, review us, give us 5 stars. I'm sensitive, so please don't do any word anymore, any less, I guess. And that would be just kind of great for us all. So if you could
Yeah.
subscribe, that's subscribe, review, 5 stars, and yeah, that's the fun stuff. So Riverfront Territory is part of the Foul Territory Network, which is fun as well. So all sorts of great stuff over there. Ken Rosenthal, so many other teams of the podcasts.
Yeah.
I think we got 15 to 30 covered,
That's right.
including us. So the Foul Territory Network has you covered for baseball. And yeah, I think that's about it. We'll see you next week. I'm C. Trent Rosecrans of the Athletic, and he is 2-time home run hitter Danny Graves. Look at that. All
Yeah.
right.
That was scary, wasn't it?
You know, I feel Chase Burns shaking in his boots in this right moment. He's so glad it's the
Yeah.
off season. He doesn't have to see you. All right.
Right. That's right.
Thanks, Danny,
All
and
right.
thanks for everybody who listened, watched, did whatever. We love you all and the fine
Thanks.
people in the Foul Territory Network.